There's one thing I know about Chuck, it's that he does not make this or any decision lightly. This decision does not come easily to him, but I consider myself extraordinarily lucky to have had him by my side for 2 years, and I am grateful that Chuck has agreed to stay on until I nominate his successor, and that successor is confirmed by the Senate.
When a senior member of the president's inner circle leaves, it's never that simple, especially when he's the Secretary of Defense, the only Republican among those advisors, and America's at several stages of war and conflict around the world. Add to it, that secretary isn't exactly on the same page as the president. You have an interesting and maybe dangerous change of leadership at a tough time. This and much more from the political sphere as we welcome back to MidPoint, expert in psychology, co-author of What Women Really Want, and a member of the Politichicks. As read on the website politichicks.com, Dr. Gina Loudon joins us. Dr. Gina, good to see you again.
It's great to be with you, but I have to tell you, I like in studio with you better than here. Just so you know, it's warmer there with you.
It's always much more fun. It's entertaining indeed, and it's a million laughs. You're welcome anytime. Come back here. Do it all the time. Listen, we've got to start on a very serious issue here because you and your husband John, he's a former senator. You're from the Ferguson area. You come from there. We had the former mayor Brian Fletcher on the air not long ago. He cried because when he saw his town burn, and his last words to us on the interview were, "Please help us." Gina, what do you see when you see your town burn?
Yeah, well, first I want to say that I'm from West County, which is a different part of the county than North County, but my husband's district did encompass North County. And so my husband and I, when he was in the Senate, were very familiar. I worked side by side with him every day in his Senate office, and we were very familiar with the plight of the people in Ferguson, and we heard their heart, and we watched as they tried to take what was a blighted area, Ed, that was blighted from the social programs that were instituted by the same people who are using the people of Ferguson today to further a political agenda that lines their wallets and gives them power, speaking namely of people like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. It is the same people with the same narrative who caused the downfall of Ferguson in the first place, that those dedicated citizens, business leaders fought so hard, Ed, to bring Ferguson back. So to see this happen is one of the most heartbreaking things you could ever sit and watch. My husband and I flew in from Texas last night on my book tour. My husband and I sat and watched glued as Ferguson was essentially burned. And the guilt goes precisely in the laps of people like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, who are willing to expend an entire city built with love like Ferguson for their own personal political and monetary agenda.
We've got about 2 minutes. Let's do a couple of things real quick here. I always like to do this with the Politichicks. Chuck Hagel is out as Defense Secretary, the only Republican in the president's inner circle here. It would seem to many that the president wants to make sure that he has a lot of yes men around him, a lot of yes women, and people who will simply take his advice and do what he tells them without telling him what to do.
Yeah, so much for bipartisanship, right, Ed? It's so much for all the accusations that this president and this administration have made from the very beginning that the Republicans won't work with them. Isn't this proof positive, Ed, that there was never any real intention of working together on the part of this administration? I think this is further evidence of exactly that.
All right, less than a minute. Benghazi. The report comes back in. Some say it's time to let this go. Even some Republicans say it's time to let this go, but others say we are going to follow this and there is still something there. Do we need to continue?
We absolutely need to continue. I've been watching your show, and your guests today have outlined exactly why. We have eyewitness testimony that speaks to what really happened in Benghazi. We know they were told to stand down. There's an article in W&D today talking about 5 reasons why that Benghazi result was not very well founded. And so I think that we're going to see evidence come out in Gowdy's committee and other places. So I think the jury's still out, and yes, we can't just let these people die in vain. We definitely need to take this to the next step.
All right, that and a whole lot more, all out of time, but we'll do it again next week and very soon. Once again, a reminder, Dr. Gina Loudon's book, What Women Really Want. And, of course, as Dr. Gina just said a couple of minutes ago, what this lady really wants is to make sure that she's back in the studio on a regular basis and can do the show from here,
That's right.
Which is fine with me. Anytime you are welcome. Dr. Gina, always a pleasure to talk to you and see you again. Have a very happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Always a pleasure with you too, Ed.
We'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Break, and we are back with perhaps the most distressing part of what's happening in Ferguson. Another example of what happens when we as a people fail to grasp the excellent lessons of history. That and so much more coming up as we continue right here on MidPoint, where we question everything.